Welcome to the Black Sheep and Bad Apples podcast. I am your host, Lauren O'Brien. I've got my friend over here, Sean Hill.
Howdy do.
As co-host. And then today we've got a very special treat. We've got Ron Baca Sr., not Junior.
Hey, how you doing, Lauren?
Doing
Sean?
Good. Doing good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so man, there's so many things that, like, I never bring a topic to the podcast anymore, but there's still so many things that I want to cover. And so I'm just going to read you this article that I pulled up about a minute ago, and the tagline is, "A man stuck a pair of tweezers up his penis and didn't go to the doctors for 4 years." So brace yourselves, guys. It's going to get graphic.
Wait, so he left it
Yeah, it was there for
4 years?
For 4 years, yeah. So
So many things just are popping through my mind.
Let me read the article, and then we can unpack it, because it says, back in 2015, an 18-year-old man jammed a pair of metal tweezers up his penis. 4 years later, he went to the doctor, claiming that it hadn't caused him any problems. In addition to apparently experiencing none of the expected symptoms like inflammation or fevers, the man could urinate as normal despite having a 3-inch tweezer lodged in his urethra.
Oh my goodness.
The doctors examined the man and x-rayed him, only confirmed that there indeed was a pair of tweezers stuck in his genitals. And it goes, the doctor said, treatment is focused on foreign body extraction, diagnosing complications, and avoiding compromise of erectile function. Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, and avoiding erectile dysfunction?
Yeah.
So what we're saying is this was still working fully
Everything was
functional.
working. Yeah, just great.
So with that in mind, do we know if he's married or has a girlfriend or something? Because I imagine there would be some interaction there where it's like, "Oh, what's wrong tonight, honey?" And you're like, "I don't know, I'm just not feeling it."
Or Sean, or is this more of a bionic man type of thing? With some of us have titanium in our,
That's true. Maybe he was trying to do the old reinforcement or something.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna be tweezers hard for the rest of my life.
Oh, too much.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to skip the actual article and just tell you guys that the man did just fine during surgery. What they had to do, the most complicated part of it was they injected him with a local anesthetic, and then they had to squeeze his penis to get the ends of the tweezers, the pointy ends, to close so that they could drag it out without, like, raking along the inside of his urethra. And he was treated just fine, but they suggested that he go see a therapist or something like that. Yeah. Because they were saying it's either like,
buddy.
Yeah, it was like either loneliness or horniness or like some sort of boredom. I honestly, I'm curious as to why tweezers. like if you're gonna jam anything up there, why not like a lubricated Q-tip, a nail, something that's solid, something that's pointy? Because the tweezers are like they open up. Like, why wouldn't you use something smooth and straight? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just wondering if he did it to, like,
just went further than he intended to, and then he was too afraid to tell anybody. So he was like, "Well, it's not really affecting much."
Or the alternative,
maybe it'll just work its way out.
Or maybe he had a splinter in there.
Yeah.
Maybe like.
I'd like to say that this is the worst dick story I've heard, but I have to tell you, it's not.
Oh yeah, we were talking before the show a little bit.
I heard something quite a number of years back where this guy, young guy, 25, 26 years old, had a girlfriend. They were going to go to Florida for the weekend, and they were partying a little bit, doing a little cocaine, and I guess he decided to really be there for her. He decided to shoot some cocaine into his dick so that he can just have a real
party night,
romantic evening. Yeah. So as if the story wasn't bad enough there, the reason why it became newsworthy is that the word is that after 3 days, his dick fell off.
Oh, man.
It sounded like there were several injections over this fun-filled weekend. And
so do you think the couple is still together?
If you have to inject your dick full of cocaine in order to please your partner, and then your dick falls off, I'm gonna say that relationship's probably not going very good.
Yeah, not a good start.
It'd be great though if they're like still in love, and she's like, "Yeah, he did it. He gave me his dick. Like he dedicated his dick to me."
Well, with the science we have now, who's to say it's not bigger and stronger?
That's true. That's true. Now they're growing like noses on people's foreheads and stuff. Yeah. Seriously, I saw this article that it was like they're growing noses and ears on rats too. But there was this one article that I read that in the next like 5 years they could potentially stick like a nose on your forehead and allow your body to like regrow it so that you can replace your own nose. Yeah, it's super weird.
That is crazy talk.
So I did want to tell you, Ron, thank you very much for putting us up. You take care of us at Merit Parcel, plug. You take care of us just so well. What's it like on your end to put us up and put up with us?
Yeah, I guess give us a little bit about yourself real quick here so the listeners can understand kind of.
Great. Well, I am Ron Jr.'s father, so most of the guys call me Senior. It's a proud moment, right? You get an opportunity to host the boys.
By the way, Ron Jr. is also here eavesdropping, so you're going to hear him in the background making random noises. Anyways, it's a really good time. I enjoy the guys. We've had some great few times together. We also hosted them up there in Brookings. They had a show there a couple months back, and we had a nice weekend up there. We did a couple crazy videos that seem to I've gotten a lot of response on. And as I meet people, I was just up in Hayfork a couple weeks ago. We were doing our fantasy football draft up there. A few of us play together there, and I even had some people out there like, I know you. You're the guy that did the videos up there in Brookings. So, I guess I'm getting...
Yeah, I don't think my mom's still yet gotten over Ron's video.
Oh, yeah, the one where he's in the bathroom? Yeah, that one's great, especially because it's a perfect dad moment where, if you guys haven't seen the video, it's on Instagram, that Ron Sr. walks into this room and opens up this door, and in what is now known as a bathroom is naked Ron sitting there with toilet paper over his junk. And Ron Sr. proceeds to do this interview with Ron on the toilet. It's just the best video ever. And then it's so awkward and uncomfortable.
We were doing, we were up there, had the weekend together. Like I said, the wife and I, Jackie, we were hosting the band up there for a show. And we were just talking about what we can do to really get the word out that, these guys have some really great music out there. Just trying to get people to hear what they have to offer. And I thought, I don't have a huge following. Plug Ron at _Baca.
I'm glad you jumped on board of the plug bandwagon.
So I don't have a huge following, but everyone knows my family. So I thought I'd put some stuff up there, and again, getting them to come out and enjoy the music. And just one thing led to another. It started out with a really nice, picturesque, recording with Sean on the deck overlooking the Rogue River.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Just beautiful day. So
as you watch all the videos, you can literally see the state of decay and creativity. It starts off as like, first I want to say that you're a great interviewer. That whole experience was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast.
Great.
And frankly, I don't know why I'm hosting this podcast, because you're a much better interviewer than I am. But it was great to see, because it started off as you were describing it, like picturesque, beautiful background. You're just asking Sean a couple questions, real short and sweet. The next one I think was me or something like that. Yeah, and real short and sweet, just fine. And then
I think it started at James. Because I think he was after you. He was the third in line.
Oh, yeah.
And and it wasn't so much an interview to get to meet a band individual anymore. It was
like a Tinder profile.
Like a Tinder profile.
And-
video. Like get to meet James.
Yeah, because leading up to that, you're exactly right. His Tinder profile thing kind of came up, and I have to tell you, he showed me his profile picture that
It's like 10 years old or 11 years old.
that was like, I don't think that I could have imagined a worse profile picture than what he had going there. So, just trying to help the guy out a little bit, set him up with a couple dog pictures, and it went south really fast.
And then
Yeah, it went from essentially helping him with his Tinder interview.
Well, and that's what I like, is it start out with this real elegant bandio with the Rogue River in
Like,
the
we're like, let's be
background,
professional.
and then another spot on the porch with you, and then James kind of like changing the act
like
a little
by
bit
the
to this,
river.
like, wait, are they trying to put their dating videos out there now, or was it? God, now I'm kind of and then chip down until Sam's sitting in the bathtub.
Well,
Ron's on the
and Ron
toilet.
was hiding from me the whole time. Everyone knew I was going to go to everybody at some point.
Ron, were you scared? Ron Jr., were you scared?
Yeah, I don't think he was scared. I think it was more like he's just going to kind of wait around. Maybe he was thinking about, thinking through his head what he wanted to say. So I just, I seized the moment.
Yeah. Well, and the hardest part, like being on this side, being the interviewer, the hardest part of interviewing somebody is just getting the ball rolling.
Sure.
And once the ball's rolling, it's really easy. So I can imagine
Yeah.
it was for Ron. He was just wondering. For Junior, he was like, "Oh shit, what are we going to talk about?"
So what's it like, I guess, for being a father of a band member that's father of a kid that's in a band and starting to tour around,
Yeah,
and then hosting it and stuff, and then seeing what we do as I guess a group of individuals and friends. And
Yeah, it's a proud opportunity, right? It's a proud moment. And then you start to get to know everyone on the band, and as a father, you're just trying to do everything you can to support and help in any way that you can.
Do you feel like you're parenting the band as well?
Oh no, you're all adult men.
Okay, good.
You're all adult men, and if anything, yes, I'm a number of years older than all of you, but I have a good time with you guys. You guys, it's great talking to every one of you. You all have your own ideals and situations, and it was great getting to know you over the last couple of years. And I feel that we're beyond the getting to know you part, and to where it's almost, it's a family situation. When you guys are over the house, it's not that you're Ronnie's friends or that you're the band. You're close family, and it's very comforting. It's very easy. I enjoy having you guys over. Looking forward to it, and.
And you were just the best host. Again, I can't thank you enough. Like, I woke up this morning, and as soon as I walked into the kitchen, you were like, "Coffee's there, eggs and bacon will be done in a minute." And it's just like, wow, it's amazing.
But and I do got to agree, though, it feels a lot more like a family matter, like when the family gets together for a barbecue on Sunday, and everybody has just a couple cold ones and eats some food, and then
exactly, it's just a cool little get together. As you know, the kids have moved out of the house. We have our last one, Brandon, works a lot, so he's not really home a lot. So it is just Jackie and I. And when we get an opportunity to have some people over, we're going to make the most of it. And, we want to make you guys feel comfortable. We obviously are comfortable with you guys being here, and we have no problem in opening our house. And
so we've got only a couple minutes left before you got to leave.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to invite you to what's your favorite like awkward or funny moment with the band?
I was going to say, do you have a highlighted moment, something that kind of has stuck with you a little
Well,
bit?
When you kind of hang around with these guys for a couple years, every meeting has its opportunities.
You're so polite. You don't have to be that polite.
It's just, and I don't think that they're funny. It's just moments that I appreciate time with each of you guys, everyone together. I have to tell you, great set last night. You guys you rocked it. You had the room just up. I think it was one of the better, I wouldn't say necessarily the better venues, but I just thought the atmosphere was electric. You guys you're killing it. The music sounded great. You guys, put a lot of, everything just sounded really good together. I just heard a lot of comments throughout the tavern there about how well you guys are playing, how well you guys sound, how well you guys played together. You can tell that you're on your second year, the third year, where you've been playing together, and the music is showing that how well it's coming together. There are, yes, the opportunity up there with the interviews at Brookings that's going to be a hard one to forget but overall the weekend was great.
I suppose it's got to be a lot of fun seeing how you were at our first show.
Oh yeah.
And that we played as the full band here, and are now at this last show, and it's been, like you said, a few years now, 2-3 years.
Yeah. And earlier this summer, Lauren had asked if I can help you guys out, see if I had some connections or some people here on the coast where we can get you out to play. And last night was our first showing of that, playing at the Clam Beach Tavern. We have a few more things set up here with these guys coming to the coast. And, hopefully we get some more things going here because, Ron is a homegrown Humboldt County guy. I think, they get... there's a lot of people here in town that I think can't necessarily go catch you guys out there when you're in Weaverville or Lewiston and stuff like that. So it's great getting you guys out this way and get some other people to listen to your music and get a chance to see Ron. They haven't seen him for a few years. Mm-hmm. So
and it's a little nerve-wracking playing at new venues.
Sure.
Playing at just a venue that you go to every couple months or so. There's a lot of hometown comfort in that, and so it was really cool last night as you were talking about the venue itself.
Right.
I like the word you use, electric. There was so much energy there. Everything sounded good. But what I really like are those intimate performances where there's only maybe 24 people in the bar.
Right.
But you get this energy exchange between them and us. They keep coming up and watching our show and actively engaging in it. And it was those intimate scenes are why I perform music. That kind of leads me to something. There was I think last year I caught you guys out there at Tangled Blue, and I'd like to. You can totally tell that was a venue that you guys were comfortable with, and that your audience knew you guys, because you can really feel how the audience and the band were kind of feeding off of one another. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a really good show, and not really being involved in the music community or in music in general. It's just kind of eye-opening to see how it's all puzzles together, and because you're right, I've been to a couple venues of your guys' where we're out of town. We're not really that familiar with the people that are...
and it definitely changes the mood up, when you're trying to...
impress a bar.
Yeah, when you're trying to make sure you put on a good first impression, and then... but the opposite of that, too, is when you go to a new town and a new place that has a crowd used to what they're doing, and then some new cats walk in.
Right.
They kind of got to go, how do we feel about that?
Let's see what these guys are up to.
Do we want you playing here or not? And you kind of get.
Well, and I also think there's let's call it a local bias, because there are some places that I've tried to make connection with here in Arcata, Eureka, and once they find out that, or they hear that you're from out of town, it's kind of like they're kind of turning some things off already. That they want to work with some of the local guys, but it's great to get you guys in here. what you've played now at the Little Red Lion there in Eureka. We got Cherry Heights, right? Cherry Heights is going to be coming up here November 22nd on a Friday. And we got some other things working on, again, in Humboldt County so that we can get the music heard. But I think it's just really important that we do these little opportunities to talk about your music, your band. And I think, what was it last night? Sean had mentioned over the mic that he heard a guy out at the bar. It's like, I haven't heard a cover. You know, and I think, you know, it's exactly, you hear some stuff like that, and there's, you know, people appreciate the music when they're out there, and you know, it's just fun and exciting to see you guys growing as a band, and it's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna keep you too much longer on. I want to thank you for being just you're part of the band now, as far as I'm concerned. You're helping us book shows. You're taking care of us. Like, I just want to thank you so much for, one, being a part of the band in the capacity that you are. It means a lot. And then, two, for being on this podcast. Like, it. Hey,
I appreciate you guys inviting me. And, you know, you're welcome to the house anytime.
We appreciate that.
It's a real pleasure every time. We look forward to having you on again, and obviously coming back again and hanging out here around the house. And
yeah, and anytime you want to be on the podcast, we're switching over to Saturdays, so just let me know.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm trying this new thing where we do it.
We're trying to do the caller call in, so it's. I think if we're recording on Saturdays now, if you know, maybe we can have a call in.
Yeah.
For
there we go. There we go. Very good. Well, Lauren, thank you again for inviting me here. Sean, thank you as well. You know, anytime you guys need anything, let me know.
I appreciate that.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
You too. All right, Junior, get over here. Yeah, it's your turn in the hot seat.
I'm gonna get grilled now?
Oh, yeah. You're definitely getting grilled. So, I wanted to talk to you guys. Have you guys ever read the book Dune? Oh, what are you...
Dune. I've not read the book, no.
Have you seen the movies?
Yeah, I've seen some of the movies.
Yeah. What about you, Ron? You read Dune?
I don't even know how to read. I know like 3 big words.
I should have asked that question before.
My favorite big word, though, is spelled B-I-G.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, speaking of that...
Do you spell it big?
Like all capital letters?
You gotta letter it.
Like, well, you know, like in school when you use the 2 lines, or the when you're writing in between the lines, or big letters, or like the double line. Do you write
it's
big
like the roadway paper, where it's got the dotted line in the middle to teach you how to do like
no, just a regular piece of college paper. You can either write line for line, or if you want like capital,
take an entire page. Yeah, fuck. I mean, like, I already basically write in all capitals, so like freaking any way to make it bigger, baby.
Oh man. So since you brought up words, let's go ahead and bring up the word of the day. I've got one.
Doodle-doo.
Doodle-doo.
Word of the day with Lauren O'Brien.
Hi, I'm Lauren O'Brien. Welcome to the word of the day. Today's word. Today's word is insufflate. Do you guys know what that is?
Ooh, insufflate.
To insufflate.
I mean, I feel like I want to inflate inside.
I mean, you're getting close. What about you, Ron?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you guys try to guess it a little bit more.
Say it one more time.
Insufflate.
Insufflate.
Yeah. And so I'm going to give you a little hint. That story that Ron Sr. told us about the dude shooting his dick full of coke. If he had insufflated his cocaine, he would have saved his dick.
Oh, does that mean like aerating it, kind of like fucking?
Wait.
Like the aerosol spray cans. This is what I'm picturing. Like fucking, if you loaded up a bunch of cocaine into a fucking aerosol can, and then just like straight into the tip. You know how they have those little straws on like the air dusters?
Yeah.
That might have worked better.
I mean,
aside from the air thing in your bloodstream, and
for the embolism.
You're
dying
getting a little closer. John, one last guess. To insufflate cocaine.
To insufflate cocaine. I feel...
You could also insufflate snuff.
Is that like fucking...
So like...
like inhale it? Almost?
Yeah, so...
okay.
Okay, so we're finally here, guys.
That's basically how most people do cocaine.
No, exactly. So when you insufflate something, you're just snorting it.
You're inhale. Oh.
Yeah.
But through your nostrils
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah, specifically through your nostrils.
It's a fancier word for snort.
Yeah, indeed.
Is that what the upper class? They're like, would you guys like to insufflate
Would you
a
like
little
to
blow tonight?
Would you like to purchase some premium, high quality, freshly cracked cocaine?
Indubitably, I'd love to partake.
Actually, I think you smoke crack. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never done crack.
I don't know.
know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're supposed to insufflate that.
It might be hard because there's a reason why they call it rock cocaine, right? Or
Yeah.
crack rocks. You know, you're probably more likely to bouffier.
So what would be a common use for the word insufflate if you were to use it, not like we are just using it in a sentence, but the average insufflate word using person?
I would say,
I think it would be job related. Like
yeah. I would say that it's job related in that if you're in like the medical community and you have a guy come in with like cardiac arrest.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
an insufflator. Blah.
No, you have to ask questions like, well, has he insufflated any cocaine? It's like, well, we tested his blood and no, he doesn't have any coke in his blood.
medicals.
Yeah. So that's what that's the only time that I think you'd use it without sounding like a pompous cunt.
Now, would that involve? Does that have to be? We're saying it's a fancy word for snorting, but does it specifically mean something up your nose? So am I insufflating air right now?
No.
Okay.
It's specifically, from what I understand, it's like a foreign object that you put into your nose,
Has
either
to-
intentionally or unintentionally.
has
So,
to
for
be.
instance, you can insufflate dust.
Yeah, that's what I was okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I take that back because insufflation, I believe, is the act of doing something intentionally, snorting something intentionally.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I recant my prior statement. I don't think you can insufflate dust unless you're like drawing up lines
Unless
of
you-
dust, you know what I mean?
Chalking it up. And,
Yeah.
Huh.
And so I wanted to get to the Dune. I wanted to get back over to Dune because I've got so many mixed emotions about it.
Now, is this based on the movie or a book?
Well, that's the thing. So the book, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's so good. Plug. No, if you haven't read it, it's a great book. It's so cerebral and so thought provoking. It like each chapter, you just have to like pause for a moment and kind of contemplate what's going on in the story. And so they are trying to remake it for a third time. So they did one in like the 70s or something like that. Terrible movie. I still recommend watching it, but it doesn't hold up to the book.
How many Dune movies are there? There's quite a few, isn't there?
I think there's 2, possibly 3 Dune movies.
Okay.
Now they just finished wrapping up filming for the new Dune movie, and I'm kind of excited about it. But I also have mixed feelings about it because I expect that it's going to be like a 3-hour long movie. But the original idea and the original premise of it was that they were contemplating doing a mini series, like 1 hour each episode.
Are the movies based on the books or? Are they
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's something, the original trilogy in the books, and then there's like, I want to say 17 other books that are called Dune Chapter House.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and those are really good too. I highly recommend those. Actually, I started reading those before I knew about the original.
So there's like a shorter series of the books, like as smaller books. I mean, in a
there's
collection.
No, there's 3 original books which are really thick, and then with the same thickness, you have 17 other
Wow.
books. Yeah.
So what's
Give
the
or take
deal with
pages.
this then? Like, because literally the only thing I know about Dune is that there are gigantic sandworms.
So there's a lot of cool stuff in the book. There's just so many different like houses, like groups of people, guilds. And so there's the stuff on the planet Arrakis called spice. They also call it melange. And melange in French, I'll have you know, means spice.
Whoa.
So this is actually like the spice of life.
So the space future is French.
Sure.
Bro.
Now we know how the future works out.
Dude.
We got to stop the
With-
French people.
Right? They're already overthrowing
sandworms.
stuff, right?
With sandworms.
French sandworms.
French
Fuck
sandworms.
me.
We are so fucked.
So wait, oh,
The US
it just-
military-
it just clicked with me. Beetlejuice.
Oh shit.
He's, his are like arch nemesis of those worms when he goes to the door and that. But what does Beetlejuice wear every day? That French Pierre
Oh,
shirt.
that's
black
why the
and white.
sandworms hate him.
Bro, because
Dude.
he's a double agent that
Yeah.
crossed his
So
handlers.
Beetlejuice is actually French. That's what I'm getting.
That's the name of the episode. Beetlejuice is actually French. No, and so the story is that this stuff called spice controls the universe because it's a very powerful narcotic, and what it does is they've got a couple of ways of describing it, but it helps you reach enlightenment. It helps you understand the vastness of your human human form. It helps you like understand where you fit in this global or this universal chaos that is constantly expounding around us. And so people are fighting over this planet because they want this stuff that can essentially help them see the future. And again, like the way that I'm phrasing it does not make it sound as cool at all as the actual books do.
So they're just eating acid or mushrooms or
consider it more of like so we only use like 10% of our brains, right? Now imagine if you could use 100% of your brain.
Bro.
That's not even touching what spice does to your brain.
Is it just like...
So it's like Adderall.
It's like if Adderall made you super duper smart in such a degree that you could see the logic points in everybody. So I could look at your motivation for doing something, and then I could understand a chain of events that you're about to go on without ever having to explain it to you or see you tell me about it.
Dude,
that's the difference.
What was that
Without
movie,
having to
though?
explain it to you. Because if you were on Adderall, you couldn't stop explaining it to them.
Yeah, and so like
James, James syndrome. Just like
it's like the opposite of James.
no, this is like this. Yeah, because
The quiet version of
actually,
things.
no, I was saying like what you were describing, like Adderall. James is human Adderall. Like he explains things far too, and most of the time it gets lost in translation.
Yeah, he is Adderall.
He is made of Adderall. He's actually where the pharmaceutical companies get their raw ingredients.
He's part of stem cell research, I think, or something. They just skim it off and make more.
Yeah.
But dude, so there's a movie like kind of describing what you're talking about with the fucking Limitless. Was that what it was? Fucking Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Plug.
No.
We don't
Fuck
plug.
Hobo Johnson. That's all I gotta say.
We had to include it at least once. Oh man.
But you were...
Yeah, that's basically what you're describing, like a pill form of spice, kind of where you're like super smart all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, dude, rip on.
Yeah. And so this one, the first book follows this guy, and I might get part of the storyline wrong because I haven't read it in a while, but follows this guy, Leto Atreides, and you've got House Atreides, which is like a huge group of people that have their own like planet. House Harkonnen, which are like the evil, fat, awful bastards. And then there's a couple of other houses in the books. But you're following along Duke Leto Atreides, who is landing on this planet and taking it over as a colony for his planet. I think it's called Atreides. I can't remember the name of their planet. And so now they're going through like a civil war colonizing thing where it's like the Fremen, the people, the natives on Arrakis are being essentially paid or bought by these other people to go and harvest the spice to show them the ways of Arrakis and stuff like that. And this guy, Duke Leto Atreides, after this huge event happens, he has to go into hiding and ends up becoming one of the Fremen, learning their ways and stuff like that. And so not only does he control the planet due to like the way the laws work in this world or in this universe, but he also controls it because now he's in control of the Fremen.
So, is this just like a sci-fi version of the Middle East? Where like Afghanistan's growing a ton of poppies for heroin, but then there's Iraq next door that's like, but we want to do it our way.
I would draw a closer parallel to like the British invasion and colonization of India, where like the British landed there. They were like, hey, we control this place. And the Indians were like looking around at each other like, no, they don't. But then eventually the British started shooting people. And they were like, oh, I guess you are in control. And then the British were like, show me all your secrets. And then, you've got like the guide that takes the British people out into the woods and like guides them through. It's like, this leaf does this and don't touch that plant because it'll murder you. And like,
I guess I went towards the Afghanistan thing because also the sand.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on sand words.
Well, and
so I was just like,
they sell oil?
Drugs, sand, Iraq trying to, like that whole thing going on right there. So one country is trying to steal your drugs and thing and show you our way. And then you, what'd you say? The the
British invasion of India.
no about the Dune, the people trying to steal the drugs. The name of the
Oh, the Fremen?
no before that, it sounded like Iraq.
Atreides.
Oh, Arrakis.
Yeah, Arrakis.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was
the
like-
name of the planet.
Okay.
It's also the planet in our version of English in the book. It's called Dune, but the name of it to the Fremen, who are the natives there, is Arrakis.
I'm just saying, Iraq, stealing drugs.
Oh, I'm certain there's a parallel
Iraqis. Bro, that's what they call their people there, Iraqis.
there. Yeah, and I think
And dude, another thing, man. So does this Atreides colony like? Well, there's just like, do they make their own spice? Do they sell spice? Are they in like the black market thing?
Yeah.
well, no, what they do is they harvest spice and they send it to, I believe they're called Hemet, but it's essentially a business guild, a trading guild that controls most of the universe. And then you've got like, I think he's just the emperor. Then you've got like the emperor in his house, and they don't talk about him too much. And so there's like this. That's why I think, getting back to my original point, that's why I think it's going to be so hard to make this into a movie, because there's so much to explain. You've got so many different houses, so many groups of people that are controlling different places and resources and stuff like that. That like
Keanu Reeves going to be in this movie.
Oh fuck.
Because I just thought Scanner Darkly with all this like drug thing and stuff like that, and I'm like, if Keanu Reeves is going to be in the new movie, I'm going to be just side character.
So would you be like into it more?
I think I would be, to be
Yeah.
honest, just because I want to see the goofy character Keanu Reeves is going to play in the Dune movie, where he's just like the dude at the corner that's like got the spice.
Dude, yeah, that's why I'm saying like, if there's Atreides spice, man, fucking Keanu would come in, and he's like trying to barter. He's like, Atreides spice for some sand dewormer.
Some
Yeah.
sand dewormer.
Yeah, because I mean they got sandworms all over the planet. You're gonna need some sand dewormer.
Yeah,
just
but-
get rid of the sandworms.
See, I want to see.
See,
like,
but that's where the issue in this story comes in, is because the Fremen see these sandworms as gods, and they actually, a part of some of their traditions and initiation processes are that you actually have to go out into the desert and then catch and ride one of these gigantic worms. Now, mind you, one of these worms is like, if you're standing next to it, it is probably 40 people taller than you. And so it's gigantic. It's fucking huge. Now, if you get rid of all the worms, the spice doesn't show up anymore.
what
Yeah,
necessary evil, huh?
because the sandworms make the spice.
Whoa.
So you gotta trade the sandworms, for lack of spice. You gotta trade him for one thing for another. You lose one. The ecosystem.
I think I just
what do they
catch
call
me a
it?
sandworm.
You just you
I
piss
buy-
me off so
I think
much
I-
with
I'm
your
about
shitty
to
puns.
trade these nuts.
I think
Bro.
I think I just purchase a big lot of desert, and then go capture me a sandworm, put it in my spot, and then kill all the rest of the sandworms, and then I'll be the guy with the spice.
Oh, supply and demand,
And they'll
baby.
be like, "Oh, why don't I just talk to you? Because then I don't have to like ride a crazy worm thing. You just like doing it." And
he likes riding the worm.
See, my issue with that is my Jesus, Ron. My issue with that is the fact that, like, leave the fucking planet alone. There's a group of people that live there. They've got their own society. They've got their way of doing
All
things.
right, Greta.
And
That's an
and what
age-old
you could
question.
what you could do is you could buy the spice from these people and have them create their own economy. But instead, they're just going in and, like, as Sean was so eloquently saying, what we're going to do is we're going to capture the planet. We're going to kill the sandworms, except for one. And then you're going to have to come to me to get your spice. Like, that's really selfish, bro. That's totally American of you.
yeah, that's the American way.
It's like, let's patent this thing that's been around for 10,000 years.
And that's why the sandworms are French. Like, obviously.
Exactly.
They're like, fuck it, we don't want you killing our goddamn homies.
Jesus Christ. But that is...
And then what do we get on our planet? A big sandworm statue to put on our country block.
You are so through and through American. You're like, Christopher Columbus came and freed all the Indians. We should build a statue for him. Because that's what it sounds like you're saying.
What I'm saying is nobody built a statue for the Indians. That's where we fucked up. We should have made a big
Or like a big apology statue. Sorry for genocide. Like
like
that.
the French sent us the statue.
Too
of
little,
Liberty,
too
you know
late.
what
I'm
I
not
mean?
speaking for indigenous cultures. I'm just speaking about what I know about how they feel about their cultures, and like, great, you built me a statue saying I'm sorry. Like, thanks. Like, it doesn't do anything to change my current
we'll
situation.
remember you.
Yeah, it doesn't do, like, it doesn't provide for my families who are suffering in poverty. It doesn't change our education system. Like, thanks for the statue, guys. And it's like, sorry for killing you, Native Americans. Like, that's just terrible.
Yeah.
You are the worst kind of person.
Should we talk about the Spanish?
No, I want to get back to this Dune thing. So what I've explained to you guys over the course of like 20 minutes or whatever, that all happened, like all those details that we just talked about happen in like 3 pages of this book. That's why it's going to be so hard to make a fucking movie. And I am really excited because one of the main characters is like this, if I remember him correctly, he's like this real tough and rugged guy, but he also is like soft and gentle and like a kind of a ladies' man. Like, he's got a woman in his heart, and he plays this lute and like does all the... Yeah, he plays the lute and just like makes like these sexy poems and stuff like that. And his name is Duncan Idaho. Well, Duncan Idaho is being played by Jason Momoa, which I think is brilliant because in the Game of Thrones, you see him as this really like tough, rugged, like this like brutal guy. But then he's got this real soft side, real gentle. And that's exactly who Duncan Idaho is. And so I'm really excited. But the point, more to the point that I'm making, I'm just going off in tangents now, is that like they had an opportunity to do like a 6 to 10 episode miniseries of the first book with like, you know, give or take 45 or an hour long episodes. And I think that would help explain the entire story behind this book, which is why I'm gonna watch it and I'm probably gonna love it, but I'm still nervous about this fucking movie. It's kind of it's one of those things where, again, 2 or 3 times in the past people have tried to make a movie about Dune, but it's always been kind of like lackluster.
A little.
It always leaves you wanting more, like another episode or another movie or something like that.
So is that going to be, well, I don't even want to elaborate it because I don't like talking about it too much, but like Game of Thrones? Because it seemed like every season they just left you like, really? That's not a season finale. That's a what's the next episode? Which I give it to him because then like 5 seasons later, I'm watching it with still the frustrated same opinion. I'm like, okay, and then...
But are you going to explain the thing?
Yeah, that's I'm like, I like that they follow character and they cut all this, but then it's like you get to the end of the first season and it's just like episode 3. You're like, oh, you're going to explain that next episode, but it's not like an explain that's like, oh... finale to a bunch of questions throughout the series. They're like, and another day, and you're like, well, what? Now I have to wait months to watch what the next like.
So are you caught up with Game of Thrones? Have you seen like the last season? I just need to know how much I'm going to talk about before I start
I'm up
talking.
to like 4 or 5 seasons.
Okay, what about you, Ron?
I've seen maybe 3 episodes.
All right, well, I'm going to...
Like, not even continually, like, in a row.
Just like the first episode, first season, and then
Somebody
like
else was
third
watching
episode,
it,
fourth...
And I was just like, okay, I'll watch 10
I had to
minutes
binge
of this
watch
and
it.
leave.
Neighbor gave me like all 5 seasons and DVDs, and was just like, here, borrow them and trade me DVDs. And I was like, all right. So I just like one after the other every night, just watched a few episodes.
So the thing that one thing that frustrates me about Game of Thrones, more to what you were saying, is that there's this character Bran, and he like becomes paralyzed in the first season, and then he ends up as like this kind of mystic guy who becomes like the Third Eye Raven or something like that is what the name of the shaman essentially is. But then that's it. That's the end of the story. They're like, hey, you're on this hero's journey to become the super.
It's like a side character in a big journey thing for a moment that you're just kind of there and gone.
Yeah, and I mean he's not there and gone. He's there throughout the entire show, I believe. But it really bothers me that his story was like minimalized, where they were like, they had this opportunity to make this huge hero's journey where like he struggles through being paralyzed, and then he meets the great mentor that teaches him the ways of like how he's gonna, you know, essentially he gives him this arsenal of magical powers that he can go and use in like whatever kind of scenario that he's in, whether it's battle or like some sort of like intellectual.
It's kind of like Space
conflict.
Jesus. He's like, I got all my powers. I'm gonna dip out to an island, bro, and just like chill.
No, we're talking about Game of Thrones.
Well, I mean, like I'm comparing him to Space Jesus.
There's a Space Jesus?
There's gotta be, man. Like he's got all the magical abilities, dude. Some people call him God.
Okay, so that brings up a good question. We'll say that there's intelligent life on other planets. Do you think Jesus has come to save those planets?
Fuck
Ooh.
Because that's my next question is like, if Jesus comes back, is he going to come back to all these planets all at once, or is it going to be like a just reaping from your fields where it's like, I got to go to Earth first and save all the souls, and then we'll go to Mars, and
I guess it depends on whether. And you said intelligent life, so I guess it doesn't make a difference. Where I was like, I guess, because other planets were like, here we're like God's children and all this type of stuff, But we all see ourselves as humans.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the ideology would be, is God a human? And I don't mean like specifically, but he took the form of a man.
He's a corporeal human,
and so it's like more so favorable for us. So almost like there used to be multiple gods in that, so there was gods for every different thing, but maybe there's still, and then it went away to a singular. Maybe it's like the old, like they kind of had a night where they're like, look, too many cooks in the kitchen.
I like that there's this pantheon of gods sitting down at like a round table.
Yeah,
and then they're like, listen, we got to get rid of some of you guys. Like we got to trim the fat here.
We
like,
just got too much.
Profits are down. We need
Jesus
in the
is
fourth
walking
quarter.
on water, and I'm sorry, but like you're
It's like cool bar trick. You turn some water to wine.
Yeah.
I like thinking that they've got like a bar graph too. Like it's a corporate meeting, where they like get together. They're like souls in the fourth quarter are down. Like we really need to trim the fat on this and get some. We can only have one God now. So
well, and it's almost like a.
Do you think there was a battle royale of gods?
I see it more like the president. So the president really, I mean, when it comes down to it, isn't really shit and stuff. He's just the guy that says the things that need.
Oh, he signs stuff.
He's the representative, yeah, but he's like the guy that has to sign the paperwork and do this and blah blah blah.
Basically a glorified
But then there's
secretary.
a whole council behind him that's really making the decisions and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's more like I feel like when we had Zeus and we had all those other gods and stuff, it's almost like they were too cool for this planet, because they're like, damn. Not only do these guys not care about shit, they got this free will thing going on. They don't listen to us. There's like 2 dudes, and the rest of them are listening to that guy. So why don't we just? And they all kind of took a planet where they went to a planet of water and a planet of whatever. That's more.
So you're saying that they were like, we like. Because if you know anything about the mythology of those like kinds of gods, that they were always beefing, they were always fighting with each other. So I wonder if they were just like, you know what, we got to go handle our own shit before we can come back and handle this. And then my next thought was like, do you think that they just dipped? They just like left to another planet? We're like, all right, God, you're in charge, and God's like, wait, what? And he's just like inherited this mess, and he's like, I don't. What?
Well, you didn't show. You didn't.
I don't know. I'm going to kill my only begotten son. and like,
keep them in line.
And like all the guys, like all the gods on the other planet, I'm just assuming that they're like looking through their version of a telescope at Earth, and they're like, "What?
Damn.
You killed your only? God damn it!" Like this.
Meanwhile, Zeus is like slaying bitches on whatever planet he's on, just populating and doing all this thing, making these like ultra
humans or
just whatever, this ultra culture type of deal that's super powerful and stuff. Meanwhile, over here they're still like playing like, what do you think they'll do if we do this?
I bet all those gods went to Arrakis. Yeah, they were like, I need some wisdom. Like we're beefing way too much.
They went where the good drugs are.
Yeah. Well, and I know there was like so many gods killing each other back in the day too. Like they fucking hated each other. So like, I wonder if it's like a meditation retreat for gods. They're like, we're gonna go to Arrakis. We're just gonna sit and we're gonna meditate. We're gonna take some drugs. And we're gonna find ourselves, guys. Because this pantheon, this isn't working. We're terrible governors of the people that we created. What we need to do is we need to find insight within ourselves, and only then can we truly be, truly fully human gods.
Dude, I'm thinking about how humans like go watch whales migrate and stuff. Like, it'll be nice. We'll just go watch the sandworms for a spell.
Yeah, we'll just sit up on this cliff, trip out.
But when you got tridents and stuff, what's a sandworm?
Well, and like they can fly and shit too. So like,
but there's like multiple gods with different like
powers, we'll call them. They're like superheroes.
They got their little unique qualities and stuff.
aesthetically
But then
pleasing.
so I'm just saying, like, take the school photo. You got you got Zeus, you got Athena, you got all these gods sitting there with they're big and beefy and mermaid tails and tridents and all these things like that. And then there's Jesus. In his moccasins.
Describe what Jesus looks like. Describe what you think Jesus looks like in this class photo of the gods.
I'm just saying, it's like the chess club guy hanging out with like the football team.
And he's got the coach of the chess team is God, and he's like standing behind him with his hand on Jesus' shoulder.
It's his son. He can't kick him off the team because it would hurt him too much and this and that.
That's why he killed him.
But he's got to go down in the third.
He's like, all right, you fucking enough fumbles, dude. Like, that's it. We're putting you on the cross.
It's like, sorry.
Oh my God.
It'd feel bad to bench him, you know what I mean? So he had to have, like, he parlayed it off to one that is like, can you just give him a little right in the end there?
No, He gave him like an injury in the third quarter so that, whenever he decides that he's healed up and he wants to return to the football game in this metaphor.
But the sports medicine guy sitting on the sideline that has to give the okay that you can go back in the game is like, not quite.
I'm just saying, I'm sitting Jesus this week, dude. He's on my bench. If he's going out in the third with 2.5 points, that shit's over.
Man, you
dropping him to the waiver wire, bro.
You can't bench Jesus. It doesn't work like
but
that,
I'm just saying, maybe that says something about Earth and the whole other planets and other people and other intelligent life out there. Maybe we're like the bottom of middle class. Like, we're technically intelligent life, but
we're like God's side project.
But it's like, no, it's like, let the chess club handle it.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? They're cool. They'll be in the yearbook at the end of the year.
Yeah, so to make them to make a better metaphor, not a better, to make another metaphor out of your metaphor, it's like all these planets are classrooms in a school, and you get one teacher per classroom. And then like here on Earth, which is like the art room where God and Jesus hang out. And Jesus, I like this metaphor. Jesus is like the student teacher too. that cracks me up. And so
he's trying to figure out how to teach a class.
Yeah, and so in this class, like when we're not doing art, we've got chess club, and everybody's like, well, we'll just let chess club deal with the art stuff.
Yeah, it's sometimes you gotta let the fundraiser things be handled by the people that want to do it, if that makes sense.
I'm just wondering who is a fundraiser for a chess club.
I'm just saying maybe Earth is like a car wash in the essence of the high school to make money for the whatever.
Now we're getting on to some Illuminati shit. So you're saying that we're harvesting stuff from Earth to export it to or maybe God's harvesting souls to send
maybe they just realized
Earth is a bake sale.
Check out all the alien movies and stuff. Why do they always come to Earth? Because they need to harvest something that's valuable for them to go back to where they are, because they ran out of a resource somewhere else, even though that planet's better for them.
But what kind of resources would gods need?
That's the question.
Did you guys ever read the book or watch the TV show American Gods?
I've owned the book and never read it.
You are just the worst person today.
I've got a good book collection. It looks really nice. I don't know much of the content, though.
I can barely read. No, but there's a premise in American Gods where they talked about American Gods, and one of them is like media, and it's just this lady with like a TV head, and in order for these gods to exist, they have to have people worshiping them, which is why Loki in this book is this feeble, old, like rickety, curmudgeonly old man. And it's because nobody worships Loki anymore. There's no devotion, there's no love, there's no praise and admiration that they give to him. And so I'm wondering if that's like the thing that on this, that God is harvesting admiration and stuff like that and shipping it off to the Arrakis of where the other gods are. I'm just imagining Zeus as like the head honcho, so we'll say that. And God's just like harvesting adoration and worship here and then just sending it to the...
Yeah, like we said earlier.
What are we even talking about anymore?
I would be the one who would ride the worm. Do you think anybody on that planet wants to ride the worm? No.
Oh, yeah.
They go to Earth and they get some dumbass like me. It's like, you like worms? And, I'm like, and he's like, and I'm God. And you're like, I guess I have to. Like, I mean, yeah. Like,
The
if you're
early
telling
nerd
me,
gets the worm.
yeah. And
The
so
early
then,
nerd gets the worm. God.
and then I just get placed back here later, and I'm like, I think my butt hurts, and I got probed, and it must be aliens, and I don't remember anything. And they're
Jesus
like,
Christ.
and then I talk about worms, and they're like, he went down a road one day that never came back from, and that's what it was. And, you know, then we just keep getting to live our Earth life with all our problems.
I'm not tracking this at all. I am so lost in this conversation.
We started with dicks, and we're ending with space worms.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so Ronnie, how you doing, baby?
Oh, I'm doing damn dandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you like-
How's it feel, I guess, Ron, before we have to close down shop on the podcast here, how's it feel to be hanging back at the old house
bro.
here?
Dude, it's cool. The sun came out.
I slept in your room last night. Your
My childhood room.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Luckily for you, the mattress had been burned. So
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that worked out good. The air mattress was great. I did because you told me how to get out the window. I don't know why. I just snuck out the window last night and pretended
Just
I
for
had to
fun.
go meet up with somebody and do, adolescent activities.
Mm-hmm.
I think I broke a fire hydrant, but, you know.
Wait,
who
were you
does that?
Were you driving or?
Oh, that's happened.
Yeah, I don't
before
remember.
in my
I ate an Ambien.
Yeah.
Oh man, I know all about doing shit when you're sleeping, man. That's no bueno.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Do you still think about it whenever you like sleepwalk? You're like, my heels are just burning. Like before you go to bed, you're like, I know I'm gonna sleepwalk tonight.
No, I have no idea when I'm going to
Do you ever
sleepwalk.
just tie your feet together because you're afraid you might get up? Like if you're sleeping in a new spot or something like that where there is a loft or something by you, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to tie my shoelaces together, sleep with my shoes on. So if I decide to get up and just walk off this loft, I'll just trip when I fall out. I get out
No,
of bed.
these guys are referencing. This is for the listeners. These guys are referencing this time I was sleepwalking and I broke both of my heels from walking off a loft. I'll probably expound upon that in later episodes.
I mean, just that alone.
But somebody made the joke direct when I was in my wheelchair. Somebody made the joke that they were talking to my girlfriend at the time, and they were like, "You better chain him to the bed." And I was like, "Ooh."
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, "Only for sleepwalking." I was like, "Oh."
no, for his safety.
Yeah. We need him to be safe. Yeah, and so like no, I don't chain myself to anything. Actually, when we were at your grandparents' house in Brookings, Junior, I slept on the third story, and there's like the little foyer hallway thing on the top story. I was terrified to sleep up there because that's like 20 feet down. I slept up there anyway, but I was still scared. I was like, in my sleepwalking state, I'm just gonna like leap over this thing for whatever reason.
Dude, you climb and leap too? Like
I don't know that I've ever done that. Again, I've been sleeping when stuff like that happens.
Jump,
So
jive,
I don't know.
and whale.
Oh, I definitely jump, jive, and whale.
sleep jump driving.
My grandpappy taught me how to do that, and yeah, no, sleepwalking is really strange.
I've only sleptwalked. Well, I can't recall it. My parents tell me about it. That when I was younger, I got up, grabbed my duffel bag, walked into the bathroom, which was connected to my bedroom and also connected to theirs. So there's two doors, and they were usually open. Put my duffel bag on the toilet, and then proceeded to walk back and forth from my dresser to my duffel bag, just packing clothes. Until I believe my mom was like, "Hey, honey, like, what you up to?" And I was like, "I'm leaving. Like, I'm out." Like,
How old were you? Do you remember?
Oh, young.
Like 9 or something.
Yeah, somewhere in there and stuff. And I was like, "I'm out. Like, I'm done. I'm running away from home," or something like that. You
Yeah.
know. And then she was like, "All right, honey. Well, have a good time." And I was like, And then I proceeded to unpack my duffel bag, put it all back in my dresser, put my duffel bag back, and went back to sleep. Apparently, it was like well, maybe this isn't the right time to leave. And just,
It's like 3 in the morning.
yeah, it's like some
No,
middle of the night deal.
The strangest story. Oh, there's a truck driving by again. The strangest story that I have about sleepwalking actually is not from me sleepwalking, but my brother. I'm going to tell it really quickly because we're trying to end the show. My brother, one time, I was sitting on the couch and he was sitting on the other couch. We were probably like 12 at the time. And he opens his eyes, sits up, and looks directly at me, and he goes, "I own all that," and points it in like this direction. And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You own all that?" And he's like, "I own all that." And my mom, in her just saintly wisdom, wheels around from her computer desk and is like, "He's sleeping." And I'm like, "That's bullshit, because he's looking me in my eyeballs." And my mom was like, no, watch this. "Jeremy, baby." And Jeremy looks over at her. She's like, "Jeremy, just go back to sleep." My brother mean mugs me for one solid second, looks at his pillow, and just fucking falls back asleep. Because that's really the key to getting people who are sleepwalking to go to bed, is just tell them to go back to bed, and they'll just. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. My mom was just like, "All right, then, well, have a good time," and like acknowledged what I was doing almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, "Oh well, I guess I better go back to bed. I'm sleepwalking," even though I didn't have any awareness of it.
Yeah. So I think this is the point in the show where we're going to start wrapping it up. You guys have any last comments? I know we did the word of the day already. I feel like we're forgetting something else.
Can I talk about my one and only sleepwalking experience?
Sure. Let's go on that.
I'm not sure if it could be classified as sleepwalking. I may have just been blackout drunk. But the only time that I've ever kind of done something similar, I was having a good night, fucking drinking quite a bit. I went home to bed with Justine, my wife or girlfriend or whatever the fuck, and like next thing you know, I'm waking up. She's like, "Babe, are you pissing?" And then I snap to, and I realize I'm pissing in the middle of our bedroom floor, and the only thing I could say was no, and then just like went to the actual bathroom, finished what I was doing, and went back to bed.
Oh, I woke up in the middle of a fight with my girlfriend. I was sleepwalking, did something very similar, and just like I woke up and like she was screaming at me and I was screaming at her, and I don't remember what happened beforehand, but I knew that I was fucking angry, and I did the typical white person thing and just punched a hole in my wall because I was so angry.
All right, Kyle, simmer down.
It took me like 3 days to finally build a picture about what had happened coming up to that, because it was like 3 a.m. when I finally like came to and was conscious. But apparently I got up, pissed in the corner of the room. My girlfriend was like, "You're peeing, you're sleepwalking." I was like, "No, I'm not, because I'm sleepwalking." And I proceed to like walk out into the living room. She's like yelling at me, "You're sleepwalking right now." And apparently that's when I came to and was like, "No, I'm not. I'm fully lucid." I was not, though. Anyway, we've been trying to wrap it up. So thank you for being with us here at Black Sheep and Bad Apples. He's no longer here in the quote-unquote studio with us, but I want to thank Ron Baca Sr. for being here. Ron Baca Jr., I want to thank you as well for jumping in. And then my co-host, God, Sean, you were just so sexy in that hat.
Oh, yeah.
And I
the sexy show hat
I appreciate you putting us up and helping us do this thing. And as always, I'm Lauren O'Brien, your host of Black Sheep and Bad Apples. Have a good night.
Bad Apples out.